Guardians, privileged ones, hello and welcome back to the channel for another Destiny 2 episode. Really quick, spoiler warning for anyone that hasn't entered the Eater of Worlds Leviathan Raid Lair yet. This is a full walkthrough for dummies. I know it's in the title, but maybe a couple of you clicked on it anyway. If you don't want to see the Raid Lair, walk away now. What you've seen so far is not important. Now, if you want to enter in for $10 worth of silver this week, you can enter in by being subscribed to this channel, showing your support and liking the video, and leaving a comment down below in the comment section. Remember, the more comments you leave, the more entries you get for that $10 of silver. PlayStation, Xbox, or PC, doesn't matter. Now to begin, the first section you've been watching, and it's actually, I believe, the second section of the first section. Now, the first section of this raid is going to be a series of 4 jumping puzzles on these platforms that we're standing on. The first platform will be there when you start, but one player is going to have to jump on that platform, and only one player. After that, another preceding platform will form, where the first player that jumped on the first platform will have to jump on the second platform, and then a second Guardian will have to jump on the first platform. First Guardian will then jump on the third platform, second Guardian will jump on the second platform, and then the third Guardian will jump on the first platform. And you will be working that line out across all 6 of your Guardian fire team members. And then you're going to get to a platform checkpoint where those platforms will then all raise up, and there will be like a section where there's a save point, and then you'll have to move through the next section. Remember, there's going to be 4 of these jumping puzzles. They're not really that difficult, but they do change. So there's different patterns and there's different movements through each one. Once you're at the end, you're on the next section, which is going to be clearing out all of the Cabal enemies that spawn in waves. After all of the enemy waves are cleared, you'll be able to move on to the next section of the raid, which is also fairly simple. This one is going to be a lightning chamber room with arc damage, and if you're not hiding behind the barriers in time, that arc energy will instantly kill you, and it's pretty bad. I mean, I didn't really pay attention when I first walked out there and instantly got zapped, instantly died, and my fire team laughed at me. So, be prepared for that room. The next room after that is when you get into a giant Cabal cannon rifle barrel thing, and you're going to want to stand in it with all of your fire team members, and it will activate and launch every single one of you out into a fiery orbit that's inside of the middle of the Leviathan ship. And you're going to want to dodge the rocks in mid-air. If you don't dodge the rocks, they will instantly kill you as well. After you and your fellow fire team have made it this far, you're in the final room of Leviathan Raid Lair, Eater of Worlds, and you've got 2 encounters left. You've got the encounter before the boss and the boss encounter itself. And yes, both of these encounters are much harder than any other portion of the raid, so pay attention. Now, you're going to want you and your fire team to split up into teams of 2. Each Guardian group of 2 is going to go to a corresponding plate at opposite ends of the map. There are 3 plates, a void, arc, and solar plate. Each of these plates are going to be designed in a triangle fashion with fire at each point of the triangle. These fires are where you're going to take the Vex Cranium relics that are located throughout the map, and you're going to place 2 on each plate and activate them. As they're charging up and getting ready, you're going to want to locate the crystals on the central structure. The point of this entire challenge is to survive all of the enemies, grab the Vex Craniums, charge them, and use the correct cranium to destroy the correct crystal. Just to give you guys a hint, make sure that the blue crystal is destroyed with the arc cranium charged at the arc plate. If you've got a solar crystal, make sure you destroy it with the solar plate cranium. Same goes for the void and so on. Now, these crystals are not going to spawn in any particular order, and if they do spawn with all 3 crystals being the same damage type, say there's 3 solar, it would be easier for your fire team to wipe and try again, because this does not happen very often. But if you can manage to grab a 3rd cranium from another plate and charge it fast enough, then go and do that instead of wiping, especially if you're close to beating it. After you've destroyed an entire side of the Vex structure in the middle by destroying the crystals, it will fall apart and show the boss on the inside. After the structures, all the sides are destroyed, then you will enter the boss encounter. Now, the boss encounter won't start up immediately. To start up the boss encounter, your fire team is going to have to pick up another Vex Cranium. And as like the previous encounter, it's a little bit similar to the Vex Craniums with the correct Vex head charged and trying to do something. Now, the portion of the boss encounter is when you pick up a cranium, it will activate the boss encounter, and there will be a shield around that boss. Don't worry about the shield just yet. Again, split your fire team members up into groups of two. Two people located at each plate, arc, solar, or void. From here, you're going to want to make sure that you have two craniums charged up at each location. And remember, again, if you need more than two of each, then it might be easier just to wipe. But again, you can run another cranium from another plate to the other plate and charge up 3 at once if you need to. As you're charging up the craniums, you're going to want to look at the boss and correspond each side with a specific type. So if you're at the arc plate, that will be the arc side. If you're at the solar plate, the solar side. Void plate, once again, the void side. If you're looking at the boss in the center of the room and there are orbs located on this diamond prism that he's inside, you're going to want to make sure to call out those orbs' colors. There will be a solar, an arc, or a void orb, and these are going to be located on the left of the boss, on the right of the boss, and up at the very top of the boss's structure. If you locate 2 solar and 1 void, for instance, you're going to want to have one of your fire team members with the void plate grab a void cranium and make their way over to the specified side. And then you're going to want to have 2 people with solar grab their cranium and make it over there as well. These 3 orbs will have to be shot simultaneously with the Vex cranium to bring them to the central point. Once they've all entered the central point, that section of the shield will dismantle and you'll be able to do damage to the boss. The way my fire team did it was we destroyed the shield with 3 craniums, shot the remaining energy out of the craniums at the boss's crit spot, and then we had the other 3 fire team members grab their craniums and shoot the boss for extra damage. Doing this allowed us to do enough damage by round 4 or phase 4 to damage the boss until he eventually died. Now, if you don't use the Vex craniums to do additional damage, there are 2 cycles per phase to do damage to him. The only problem we found is taking that second damage phase actually wastes time. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to delve out as much damage in the first phase as we could. That way we could move on to the next phase without worrying about wipes or dying or having issues gathering the craniums and moving them back to the plates. In between each double damaged phase and moving on to the next section of the boss encounter, there will be a section where the boss spawns platforms around his body. There are going to also be 2 crit spots on each side of the boss's body that you're going to have to shoot simultaneously to destroy. 2 points are on each of his front arm, and you'll see them glowing white, and if you shoot them they will start glowing red, and then they'll go into a critical point where they'll blow up. If they blow up, then that means you destroyed it. You're then going to want to make your way over around the boss on the platforms to the next side and destroy the next one, which will stagger the boss. Staggering the boss is crucial because if you don't stagger the boss, this is a wipe mechanic. The boss will wipe you, you'll have to start over. The next 2 points are going to be on the top of him on either side, and the next 2 plate positions are going to be behind him under where you would consider his armpits. So there are 6 points total. 2 points all at once have to be destroyed to stagger him. So then after phase number 2, you'll have to destroy 2 more points. Phase number 3, 2 more points. And then by phase 4, you have to kill the boss because there will be no more critical points to damage him to make him stagger a 4th time. Remember, you can only stagger him 3 times. So if you don't kill him in the final damage phase, then it's a wipe and you'll have to start all over. Guardians, a quick note and tidbit that I may have forgotten is during Argus's damage phase. When you're damaging Argus, he will fire a few prisms out of his mouth, and if they hit a fellow Guardian or yourself, you will be trapped in a prism prison. Now that may sound strange, but when you get stuck in one of these, you can't do anything. You can't use your supers, you can't use your grenades, your melees, nothing. It's kind of like being stuck in the barrier back in the Vault of Glass facing Atheon, but this time you can't get yourself out of it. So you're going to have to announce if you're stuck, that way your fellow fireteam members can shoot it and release you in time before you fly out into orbit and instantly die, or stop you from doing damage to Argus. If they let you out quick, you'll be able to continue the damage phase like nothing ever happened. Just to remind every single one of you that that might happen. But if you and your fire team successfully do this, congratulations, Guardians. You've beaten what could probably be the hardest boss encounter in the entire game of Destiny 2. And also, congratulations to the loot. After you've beaten the boss, you get spawned into Emperor Callus's throne room, where you can actually go and grab his treasure that's down below the throne room. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. I didn't really think that the final chest would actually be at Emperor Callus's chambers, but that was a nice little touch. And as always, Guardians, I hope this video helped. If it did, remember to leave a thumbs up. Leave some comments down below on any questions or concerns you may have. I will be helping as many people as I can down in the comment section, so remember to leave your comments. And as always, for every single one of you, stay violent, be privileged.
Oh, hi. VBG isn't here right now, but I guess you enjoyed the content. So over there's a logo you can click on. That will allow you to subscribe. More content up there, and behind the scenes daily content over here on the vlog channel. There you go. Enjoy!